morning and welcome to the Jones Index and our show today sponsored by Ocean Developments. We're also joined by Ray Agterbos from Tropical Adventures Travel. Today we'll be updating you on the development in Emerald Shores and the pre-construction lots that we're selling in Bonefish Bay. And then we're going to be taking you on an underwater adventure tour as we join Ray on his latest diving expedition in Belize. As I mentioned, we want to take a quick look at an update at what's been going on with Emerald Shores and the lot program that we have going on there in Bonefish Bay. So just to refresh you, I want to pull up the map that we have from the master plan community of Emerald Shores. So Evan, if you wouldn't mind taking us to the big map. So here we are at Emerald Shores, the master plan. And it is a 200-acre community development just north of Ambergris Cay, or rather north of San Pedro on the island of Ambergris Cay in Belize. So we have the large development, which is going to house a marina, a hotel, a whole community with recreational developments. And the area that we're looking at right now down at the bottom of the screen in the yellow is the area called Bonefish Bay. So Evan, if you'll take us to the Kutahura, we'll take a look at what those over-the-water bungalows actually take a look like and what you'll be able to enjoy in Emerald Shores at Bonefish Bay. Here on Fuse Logic TV. Joining us today is Ray Agterbos from Tropical Adventures Travel. Ray has just recently got back from a diving expedition in Belize, and he'll be sharing underwater footage as we get a glimpse into the depths of the crystal Caribbean waters. Adventures are out there, and Ray is going to walk us through an adventure underwater. From small personalized scuba diving classes, escorted trips, and videography services, Ray ensures your vacation is more than a holiday. It's an experience. All inspired by Ray's desire to explore, Tropical Adventures Travel provides you the opportunity to do the same. So, Mr. Ray, thank you for coming today and welcome. Welcome to the Jones Index. And today we're going to be doing a show sponsored by Ocean Developments. And, of course, we're down in the Belize area. So I understand you just got recently back from a trip in Belize.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much for having me today, Brenda. Yeah, we went to a trip in Belize in February. Had an absolutely magnificent time.
Well, that's great. Well, we're going to see some great footage on that. But first of all, Ray, I want to talk a little bit about your company and how you got started. Myself, along with all the technicians here today, are taking a look at what you do, and we think it's the dream job. How did you get started with this?
Well, it was a progression, series of events. It actually started in another field entirely. I also backpack and climb a lot, and I loved sharing that interest with my friends, and I ended up hooking up with a couple individuals who had a climbing company, and so we took groups out climbing and took people up to their first peak in various mountains around Alberta. And I thought to myself, well, geez, I was scuba diving for years at the time. And I thought, well, I'm doing this for climbing. Why can't I do this for scuba? And so I started in 2005 and haven't looked back since.
Haven't looked back. Well, that's great. Well, so I'm going to show you a map here on Google Maps, and we're going to take a look at the area where you just got back from. So, Evan, if you can, there we are. So here we are in Belize City, if I can see my cursor there. And our area that we're taking a look at with Ocean Developments is just at the top of the map here at Ambergris Cay, and just above San Pedro. So now the area where you are in, tell us about that, and it's in this letter marked A, and I'm just going to zoom into it here. What is the area that you were in?
It's called the Turneffe Atoll. And it's the most biologically diverse atoll in the Western Hemisphere.
Okay, so Ray, this is your website here that we've got up. So walk us through here and tell us, as somebody looking to take a dive trip, what am I going to find out about you here, and what do you want to share with us?
Well, first of all, on the homepage, you're going to find out what trips we currently have on the board that are going on, and a brief glimpse of what their status is, if they're almost full, sold out. You can scroll down the page and you'll see some of the more things that we offer in terms of scuba lessons and vacation services, certification on your vacation for scuba diving.
Now, that sounds like a fabulous thing to do. Now, I've always wanted to get certified. Being from the BC area, I've had some minor experiences, but I've never been certified. But I have had tanks on and gone down 12 or 15 feet. But taking a look at some of the footage that you've done, that's certainly next on my list. So that's one of my bucket list things
That's great.
to do. So we'll certainly have to take a look into that. So we're going to take a look at some of the footage that we've got from your first video clip. So Evan, if you can pull that up for us. Actually, I think this is some of the sea creatures that we're seeing here. So why don't you walk us through this video here, Ray?
Well, this is happened last April when we were in Utila, and we participated in a whale shark research program. And this is our whale shark, one of them that we saw during the week. We spent 3 days snorkeling and interacting with the whale sharks.
Now, they look absolutely massive. What is your first experience when you see one of these magnificent creatures under the water?
Pretty much jaw-dropping. I mean, they are 35 feet in length. They're the largest fish in the sea. And it was a magnificent experience. Sometimes we get very close when we're dropped into the water, and so it's basically just trying to take the whole experience in, and it's a little bit of sensory overload sometimes.
I would imagine. Now, you had mentioned this is in a different island, but this is the same sort of creatures that you're going to see in the Belize waters as well, right?
Absolutely. There's, in the area of Gladden Spit, there is a seasonal migration of whale sharks from April, May, and June. They have whale shark diving going on in Gladden Spit area, and there's lots of great whale shark encounters to be had in that area.
Now, we just saw a little fish attached to one of these whale sharks. It's called a remora?
That's correct,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, little cleaner fish.
You see them attached on the back there. Now, how many people were on this particular dive?
This group, we had 14 of us, so there was... when we would do the whale shark encounters, 7 of us at a time would drop off the boat and watch the whale shark. They were feeding, so we would drop in, and then they would mosey on away when they were done.
So now we talked earlier about them, what they're like compared to a dolphin. Maybe not quite as friendly as a dolphin, but they can be at times.
Oh, they can be very curious. There was an event on a separate trip that I had been to in the Turks and Caicos where I met the captain of the vessel who had a very curious whale shark spend 20 minutes with him, and he was videoing him the whole time. He came right up to the boat. It was just a little pleasure craft, with a little outboard on the back, and he had the privilege of spending a great 20 minutes with that creature.
Some of those experiences that you hear with, with divers and people having these experiences, it's absolutely incredible. And I think someone who has never been in the ocean or experienced even smaller fish, to partake in something like this is that's truly an amazing adventure.
You know what? It is, and that's what we're trying to do. Tropical Adventures Travel is provide that adventure for people, right? And because there's lots to do in this world, and we're excited to do it.
That's
and
great.
To share it, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
Well, and here at Fuse Logic TV, we're able to bring an adventure like this to life for a lot of people. So we're very excited about that.
Fantastic.
So now this little fella here, how long did you guys stay with this particular one?
Well, this fellow we would see on several occasions, but a typical encounter would last 40 seconds maybe.
Okay.
And then he, a couple strokes of that rear fin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's gone. There's no way we're keeping up.
They can move fast when they have to.
Yeah, so then we collect back on the boat and then we reposition ourselves and drop in again. That's right. And very often we don't see the same whale shark. There was a few in the area at the time. So, but you can see there's a radio tag also, part of the research program. You can see it sort of floating, being pulled behind, and they tag the whale sharks so they can track them.
So they know when they're coming back into the waters and whatnot.
That's right.
So I imagine the dive masters would be kept up on that sort of information as they're in this area. Let's go and find them.
Well, they don't really have access to that. It's more the researchers. When the whale shark comes to the surface, the radio tag reaches the surface as well and then transmits the position to the satellite. When it's underwater, it doesn't transmit anything on that particular one.
And what are we seeing here?
This is a spotted moray eel. And that's a smooth trunk fish. That's actually one of my favorite types of fish. They're pretty cute.
He's pretty playful, is he?
Yeah. They're pretty interesting to watch.
And then he's just doing a little feeding there, is he?
Yep.
Now those eels, do they bite at all?
They certainly can. Yeah. I don't condone. We try and minimize our interaction. We're just there to observe, not to harass. And so, there are times where people have interacted at a more immediate level with these creatures, and they respond in defensive manners. And fingers have been lost.
Yeah.
And, it can be serious, no question.
Now, a lot of your guests, are they from Canada here, or do you get international clients as well?
Yeah, I've had international clients. I've had clients from England, Holland, Cyprus, Scotland. From the States, I've had inquiries. I haven't got my first client from the States yet.
Well, we'll say, come on down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all good here. And then provincial, Canada-wide, I've had clients from a number of different provinces as well. Okay. And it's growing. It's great. This is a green moray eel. Very large. They can become 6 feet plus.
The colors are absolutely magnificent, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Absolutely stunning.
And what's that little purple thing beside him there?
That's a type of coral, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the coral reef in the area in Belize, it's second to the Great Barrier Reef, I understand. In comparison, have you been to the Great Barrier Reef?
I've been to Australia. I have not dove the reef.
Oh, okay.
But
bucket list thing?
Absolute bucket list, you betcha.
Now, what's this little fellow?
This is called a flamingo tongue. And they crawl on some of the coral and feed off the coral.
Okay.
Yeah. These are reef squids. Beautiful creatures, change colors instantly to match surroundings. I'm not sure, but sometimes it almost seems they change colors when they're expressing certain different tensions or moods. Like when we approach them, the colors change. And they're mid-water, so it's not a change in response to any sort of background to hide. Mm-hmm. So it may be to warn or something of that nature, right?
Well, being from the coast, I mean, I grew up, my folks have a boat out there, and we're always fishing. we've caught a squid in our shrimp trap, actually.
Right.
And of course, as soon as you go to take it out, it releases the ink. And again, that's a pretty amazing experience if you've never had it before. So lots of really great creatures that you get to encounter.
Absolutely.
So Ray, tell me some of your other diving experiences. I know we talked a little bit yesterday about a trip that you took in January. Where were you then, and what was that like?
Well, in January, I took 9 people down to Micronesia in Southeast Asia, and it was a trip of a lifetime. We spent 23 days. We dove in Truk Lagoon in the state of Chuuk, where all the it's famous area for World War II wrecks.
Okay, so you're diving around those areas.
Yeah, and then we spent a week in Palau, where we dove, and I had the dive of a lifetime. We spent a whole hour with 12 to 15 manta rays while they were feeding in about 15 feet of water. It was stellar. And then finally we spent another week in Yap, which was also known for the manta rays and the mandarin fish, and we saw them all. It was wonderful. Yeah,
that's wonderful. Well, we're going to take another look at some other video clip that you have specifically in the Blue Hole area, right in Belize, and we've talked a couple of other times on our show here on Belize about the Blue Hole. So why don't you walk us through as we see this one as well?
Right. Well, here we're approaching the Turniff Flats Resort on Turniff Atoll, and here we're arriving. And this is where we stayed for the 8 days. It was a wonderful resort. People were fantastic.
Great food.
Fantastic food. And so here we're seeing a scorpion fish, which some of you may find difficult to find, actually, because there's
that's it. That's the fish right in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, they're so well camouflaged. Here's the pool at the resort and our cabanas, oceanside cabanas, which were outstanding. And here you're starting to see the Blue Hole. The Blue Hole is 460 feet deep.
A little dark, but...
Very dark.
Yeah, just bear with us. There we are. Yeah.
There's a fella. We were at 130 feet on this particular dive, and there were large stalactites hanging from this cave. It was a bit of a cavern. The Blue Hole's in the shape of an hourglass. And so we were just on the downside of the hourglass, and there was large stalactites that hang mid-water.
What you see right here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
you get a lot of coral activity and different types of creatures hanging off.
You betcha, yeah. So that was actually very interesting formation to witness. Mm-hmm. And of course, at 130 feet, we don't have a lot of time we can spend there.
Right. That is the maximum footage that you can go down for diving?
For recreational divers. Okay. That's the recreational limit with additional training.
And what's the depth, the deepest that you've been?
130 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had about 8 minutes that we could spend there. So we swam through some of the stalactites, went in a little bit on the hourglass, looked around, and then we started to make our way back up.
Everyone's checking there.
Yeah, you got to check your gauges. You got to check, your times, check your air, making sure everything's good, right? Safety first.
Yeah, and buddy system.
Buddy system, absolutely. There. And now here we're on our way back up.
He's actually going up there now?
He's going up, and he's apparently very relaxed.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Enjoying himself.
So now, where were most of this group from?
We had a lady from Calgary, a gentleman from Saskatchewan, and the rest from Edmonton. Yeah.
Now, were they getting certified on that trip, or most of them certified previously?
Great question. I certified 3 people on that trip, and then also did their advanced on the trip as well.
And so they got to go down to the 130?
Not at that time. No, they didn't.
Yeah. So,
But the rest of the group did.
You get how far do you get to go down once you're certified advanced?
Certified advanced, you can go to 100 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are these little guys? When I first saw this, I thought seaweed.
Yeah, no, these are little garden eels. That's a frigate bird. We went to Half Moon Cay after the Blue Hole. There's a booby bird with a little chick.
Little chick underneath him there.
Yeah. And they were the eggs were just starting to hatch when we were there. It was quite beautiful. Preening themselves in the heat. It's a nice green gecko. There's lots of life to see. in Belize. Gorgeous country. We did some cave tubing as well, which was great, tubing through the limestone formations and whatnot, and the quartz formations.
From what some of the videos that we've taken a look at over the past shows, there just seems to be never-ending adventures to go on down there. Now, this is really exciting. Walk us through this part.
I love this. This is the closest you come to jumping off a cliff without a parachute. Right here, off he goes. He's jumping off. This is a wall dive, so the seafloor ended right there, and now he's jumping into the deep blue. And it was fantastic.
Incredible.
And that's very much what we do. Oh, here, this is an upside-down jellyfish. Another gorgeous creature. I've spent a lot of time on the coast in Vancouver. There's a lot of different types of jellyfish, but never seen one quite like this. You know what? And I hadn't either. First time I saw it was in Belize, right? Great life there.
Now, with a lot of the different sea life that you're seeing here, I'm sure a lot of the locals catch all these variety of fish, and you're going to be dining on them in the evening. Yes,
actually we did. And right now, on the trip, we had some lionfish for the first time. And lionfish are they have a bit of a nebulous reputation in the Caribbean presently.
This is what I understand. Yeah. Tell us about why that's happening.
Well, they're not endemic to the region. And so what they're finding is they're multiplying at very rapid rates. And so they're eating all the small reef fish. And so,
which is, of course, a detriment to the entire reef, right?
Absolutely.
The whole ecosystem, right?
So everyone, all the dive shops and suppliers and dive masters are making a concerted effort to actually start getting rid of the lionfish.
So you dined on
We dined on some lionfish. And they were great, actually, I have to say.
A shish kebab.
Yeah. And there's the lionfish.
There.
Yeah. And you have to be careful how you eat those because they are poisonous. Those spines are poisonous, right? So.
Now, where's the next adventure off to?
Well, I'm off actually in May. I'm off to Alaska. From Juneau to Sitka.
Diving.
Yeah, there's adventures in the cold water too.
You have to gear up a little differently for that one, I'm sure.
That's right.
Now, this guy here is what do we call him? A hermit crab?
Hermit crab, yep.
And I looked at him and I said, that looks like my 14-year-old son in our kitchen cupboards, just going through stuff, eh?
Exactly.
Looking for food.
See the big hole in the fridge right below
there
him?
There you go.
Exactly.
That's where the groceries were.
That's right.
Yeah, there's just some amazing creatures.
There are. These are two little juvenile spotted drums. Beautiful little fish. And they're quite common. You'll see them throughout the Caribbean.
They kind of remind me of a seahorse kind of little creature. So they're not very big?
No, they're not very big at all. But they grow to be a lot bigger than that. But we had the pleasure of seeing two in the same spot here in Belize. That was great.
So I would imagine that another Belize dive is in the near future.
Absolutely, you bet.
Well, that might be one that we might have to chat about.
That would be great.
Yeah, we've got lots of excitement, of course, with ocean developments and the pre-development lots that we're selling there. So we have lots of interest with people wanting to go down. So
that last fish was the spotted toadfish, endemic to the Belize region. That was a great little find when we found that. And these are shots, again, around Turner Flats Resort on the Turner Atoll, where we stayed for the 8 days. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the beach down there just looks so amazing.
Oh, yeah. And hearing that constant surf, from your cabana as you look out the garden doors, and there's the ocean.
There's the ocean.
Lapping up.
And love that sound.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there's nothing better. Yeah. Great place to kick back and enjoy a nice evening walk, I imagine.
Absolutely.
Well, that's great. So, Ray, I just wanted to thank you again for joining us here on today's episode of the Jones Index. Of course, today's episode sponsored by Ocean Developments and Mr. Sukit Randhawa. But we would love to have you back, and maybe we would like to invite some of your other partners that you work with around the globe who are also dive masters. So we'll look forward to that down the way. So thank you again for coming.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a great pleasure.
Great. Thanks again. Welcome to the Jones Index here on Fuse Logic TV. I invite you to enjoy the first episode of Posh at Home, a show all about interior design. In this first show, we are visited in studio by local artisan Julie Wittenland. Next, we head down under as we interview Susan Youngblood from Designs Abroad, who showcases designers from all around Australia and New Zealand. Posh at Home's window covering specialist, Brianne Hefner, educates us on the latest products from Hunter Douglas. Be sure to watch it, Posh at Home, Episode 1 on the Jones Index Network, right here on Fuse Logic TV. So again, we thank Ocean Developments featuring Emerald Shores and the pre-construction lots at Bonefish Bay. Again, great pricing. Interior lots for $59.9, lagoon lots at $69, and an unheard of oceanfront, still a few lots available at $79.9. Why not make it part of your permanent lifestyle? Bonefish Bay.